what I've been told and off little bits and pieces. Let's get the facts straight, alright? I don't think Israel's got what they think they're saying they got. I don't know if you're trying to do like some like George Bush type shit where like you're trying to be remembered for something big. I mean, dude, you got like we literally have like 3 more years and you could be remembered for much greater things like bringing down the price of gas, making great cars again, gas-powered cars, many other great things, making America great. We don't need to we do not need to be worried about this shit right now. We don't need to be worried about this shit. We don't need to be worried about this shit. They're literally like so far behind. I don't know, like, maybe you got some intelligence that the American public isn't getting, but here, let's try to get some facts.
As new CNN reporting indicated there are doubts in the intelligence community about how close Iran actually is.
They're not that close, I don't think.
Zach Cohen has this reporting. He's with us now.
Let's see what they say.
Now, there appears to be some daylight between the U.S. intelligence community and Israel, and I guess now Donald Trump, on this question of how close Iran is.
I watched a few other things on this and read up on it. They're not that close to making any weapons. Like, from what I've seen, it's not there. So here, let's try to get some facts on this. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, hit thumbs up. We're going to try to get some facts.
And that does really run counter to the more urgent, dire timeline that Israel and Donald Trump have put forward. In recent days, Israel, of course, saying that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu saying that Iran has been working in secret to develop nuclear weapons over the last several months, and that it's very close to having a nuclear weapon.
I don't believe that.
Addressing this question today, when he was
I don't know if I believe that.
about his director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard's testimony in March, where she said that Iran is not actively
let's speed up his talking.
towards a nuclear weapon. Take a listen to what Donald Trump said.
I already watched this, so it is factual. I mean, it's CNN. I don't know if I trust them, but
You've always said that you don't believe Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon, but how close do you
why?
personally think that they are to
I
getting
mean, they're kind of like Afghanistan or Iraq. They're like a bunch of sand monkeys. I mean, maybe yes, I agree we should keep defending Israel. I kind of agree with that part.
Israel has used this sort of urgent warning about Iran's nuclear program
Let's speed up his talking.
for its latest round of preemptive strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. Of course, this big question still hangs over.
We could do this on my videos for the slow part too. Normal. You can speed it up super fast. Speed up his talking a little. Because this is how you speed up my videos for the slow parts.
In order to do so, that will require one of two things. You have to tell us either a negotiated deal or U.S. military.
Right, Zach Cohen, some brand new reporting that fits right in where this story is right now. Appreciate your work.
I'm going to start speaking on this in a
With us
minute.
now is CNN
Let's get some
global
facts. I already watched the stuff
White
that
House
we're
coordinator
watching.
for the Middle East and North Africa, who's been
And this is
deeply
CNN. I don't like
in
CNN.
discussions in and around Iran for many, many years. And Brett, what I want to focus on is President Trump headed to the Situation Room this morning. And much of the discussion might be focused
Like,
around
are you trying to push some George Bush Trump like shit? Like George Bush is remembered for 9/11 and going into Iran and pretty much 9/11 Twin Towers and starting the Iran-Afghanistan war. That's what George Bush is remembered for, Trump. You don't want to be remembered for that. Come on now. I get it kind of why you're defending Iran, because our U.S. government has done it forever. So you're just following what the government's done. Maybe you saw some files that the rest of the world doesn't, including only the Secret Service knows about. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, thumbs up. Here, let them talk before I start interrupting.
Can't draw a conclusion yet, but the Israelis are taking out not only the missiles but the launchers. Very important. Second, you want to contain this conflict.
So let's continue to protect Israel, but let's not escalate. We don't need to be sending bunker busters over there. We don't need to be sending our B-52s in there. We don't need to go on the offensive. Just let's keep protecting Israel. Whatever. I don't like that, but I'm not fond of that. We need to be focused on America, Trump. We need to be focused on getting gas prices down. We need to be focused on making America great, protecting America. But I just don't see Iran as a threat. And if Iran's sleeper cells are already in America, they're already in here, Trump. So us sending a B-52 there to where they're at isn't going to do jack shit, because the sleeper cells are already in America because of Joe Biden. So if Iran already got, not Iran, yeah, if Iran already got their sleeper cells in the U.S., we're gonna get attacked from the within. We're not gonna have to worry about their country. It's gonna be like Red Dawn, the enemy within, because of Joe Biden letting everyone into our open border policy. Here, let me let you hear that. I don't like CNN because they lie, but we're just gonna go with CNN on this one. I already watched it.
Take another look at that. Tell us you're ready to take the deal, and this will be over. So that's where we stand right now. At the end of the day, John,
Yeah, this is important, this part right here.
nuclear program dismantled. And Fordo
What
is
nuclear
taking
program?
the deal.
They
We
don't
have
that
a
shit.
or
They've been saying this since 1995, and that is factual. They've literally been saying this since 1995. If they haven't got any nuclear weapons since 1995, this is bullshit. Just like us going into Afghanistan was bullshit.
Dropping what's called this bunker buster bomb, the GBU 57.
That's what I was talking about.
What do you think that discussion is like, Brett? About whether or not
And I'm only showing the important stuff that I pre-watched right now before I start talking. I'm gonna let them talk and then I'm gonna say my thoughts on that and follow it up.
For over a decade, this munition is not designed for this purpose. Now look, there have been massive risks about such an operation like this. Number one risk used to be Hezbollah. Hezbollah had 150,000 to 200,000 missiles and rockets aiming at Israel. Hezbollah has been knocked on its back. Number two has been Iranian air defenses. They have Russian air defense systems, very high risk of taking down.
Can you guys hear it okay? Can someone comment? The volume's okay?
Eliminated. Iran can certainly respond.
Can you guys hear what they're saying okay?
I would just say this is a very feasible option. Iran knows it. It's important they know it for the purpose of trying to get a diplomatic resolution to this problem.
Trump's still my president, by the way.
It's the main objective, but it takes the military
Well,
pressure
it's a
to
little
get Iran
nice,
to
a
the
little
table.
low. Let me turn it up a
This is
little.
really
Thank you.
unfold here over the next 3 to 4 days. I think it's a very critical period. I'm watching today.
Can you hear it better now?
Another missile barrage, or are they really now?
I got it sped up a little too. Let me
Brett,
slow
you
it
use the term
down.
coercive diplomacy. That's what's happening here. What is that exactly?
This is how you get past the slow parts of my videos. To speed it up and then slow it down when you get to the good parts, because I don't got time to edit.
Sanctions, economic pressure, and number two, the threat of a military force if Iran does not demonstrate to the world this program is peaceful. And I just
In
have to
all
say,
fairness,
last week,
Israel,
John, you know, the IAEA
Israel isn't letting us go and check their nuclear bombs that they have there. They're not letting us do our safety checks on them, and we'll get to that next. So they kind of have both sides aren't doing what's right. Iran's not doing what's right, and Israel's doing what's not right. Israel should be letting us. Let me stop interrupting. Let him talk first before I interrupt. So somewhere in here is where they're planning on doing the B-52 is in that area. These are the areas they're saying go ahead, bomb it, because they probably got that. They probably don't got shit there. That's why they're saying go ahead and bomb it.
Thank you so much for helping us understand what's happening, probably in the situation room as we speak this morning.
Alright, here, let me get another video. Hold on. Got another good one here. This one was pretty good and informative. Don't listen to this, I'm gonna mute it. Sorry, I got a few more seconds. They're not getting a second in advertising.
All right, welcome back to Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. We continue to monitor live vantage points out of Tel Aviv. We are looking for any
Israel's
military activity
doing
in
what's
the
not
skies
right either,
above
because
Israel's
Israel
main metros.
is not letting us know and check on their nuclear weapons to make sure that they're safe and that they're doing the right thing with them. So Israel's in the green either.
This comes as President Trump says within 2 weeks.
You're still my homie, Trump. You're still my president, but I don't agree with everything. I don't agree with this to what you're doing.
It's because of Iran's nuclear program. So we're dedicating this segment to
I mean, you don't need to be the next George Bush to say, yeah, on the 4th of July, I bombed the shit out of fucking Israel with a B-2 bomber. You don't need to be the next George Bush, Trump. That's not something you want to be remembered for. What George Bush was remembered for.
Andrea, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming on. As soon as Israel started striking Iran, I started seeing lots of posts talking about Benjamin Netanyahu.
And we shouldn't even be worried about this shit. We should be worried about our own country, Trump. I'll be shocked if Trump ever watches any of my
Netanyahu has been
videos.
saying Iran is close for over 30 years now. And that's led some people to
Let
question
me
how
let these
credible
assholes
those
talk.
warnings have been over the years. How do you see it, Andrea? Has Netanyahu repeatedly overestimated Iran, or has Iran simply been incapable of delivering a bomb over the years? Or is it something else?
I can't see it.
Great to be with you, Austin. I think it's fair to say
They're
that
not
we have
capable.
seen a little bit of alarmism over the years regarding Iran's proximity to nuclear weapons.
They've been saying that since
But
1995.
It goes without saying that
I've
right
seen
now
the
they're
actual
extremely
read up
close
on it.
to
They've been saying this shit
weapons.
since
They had
1995.
amassed
Let me
enough
pause this so I'm not
enriched uranium
interrupting.
to produce 22 of these.
They've been saying the same shit since 1995. If they haven't been able to do this shit since 1995, and we're in 2025, I'm not feeling it. I feel it's bullshit. Let's continue.
Weapons, so they had enough weapons grade uranium for those, nearly. And the U.S. had estimated that
Nearly.
Iran
For the
was
last
about
20 over
6
years.
months from being able to produce a crude
Bullshit.
nuclear
They've been
device.
saying that since
So not
1995, our
deliverable,
government.
but something more rudimentary. And then there's just a report in the New York Times
I'm trying to
that Israel's Mossad hadn't needed.
I'm trying to figure out more about this issue, which I've been doing for the last few hours here, so I could speak on it better. Because I don't like speaking off of just what I see. I like doing my own research.
A shorter estimate of even 2 weeks to produce a functioning nuclear
Bullshit.
device.
I call
So
bullshit.
Israel acted preemptively
I call
here,
this is some
and I think
9/11
the
shit,
world in
George
time
Bush
will
shit.
thank them for it.
This is the one thing I don't agree with Trump
Iran
doing.
obviously
And there's one
is
other thing too, but the
broadcasting
majority of it, he's still my
their nuclear
president.
Progress. So how do we get reliable information on their progress?
We have a variety of tools. The intelligence community, certainly in Israel, the United States, and Europe, are very helpful. But we have had the
I'm gonna speak when
International
she's
Atomic
done.
Energy Agency, the UN
I got one
nuclear
more video to
watchdog,
play
in
too.
there inspecting any sites where Iran had nuclear material. Now, Iran never declared all of its nuclear material, nor did it declare nuclear weapons activity on a separate weaponization list, which is the effort to construct nuclear devices. But we did have some insight, and now the IA unfortunately is not able to be in there. They can't have inspectors in the facilities as they're being taken out, and Iran is taking advantage of that
Yeah.
and moving some of its highly enriched uranium.
Why can't we have
been
the
asking the
inspectors
audience
in
to send in
Israel, though?
questions.
They're not
Andrew
letting our
Anthony in
inspectors
Texas
go
asks,
inspect Israel's
what
nuclear
are
shit. They're
Iran's
keeping it
stated
secret.
goals for its nuclear program, and how
Israel
do these
needs to let
align
our
or
inspectors
conflict
in
with
there go
international
inspect Israel's
perceptions?
shit.
What's Iran's use case for them, or from their perspective?
That's another thing I don't like about Israel.
Iran uses
Why are
them
they not
as
letting us
a
inspect
nuclear
their
hedge,
nuclear
so
stuff
they
to make sure it's
obtain
all safe?
economic concessions from being
They
very
have to
close
code
to
or
weapons.
whatever the
I
code
think
is.
why they
for
haven't
nuclear
gone over the
shit.
threshold is because they feared getting caught. So they were very heavily penetrated,
can't
as
Iran,
we know,
Like, want to
by
have,
the
like,
extent
a,
of Israel's
well,
operation.
let me let her
Iran
finish
always
talking.
claims that it only had peaceful civil intentions for its nuclear program. But it's
Like,
only one
like a-
of
don't think
6
nuclear about-
countries
wait.
total without nuclear weapons.
And when they're saying, like, non-threatening, keep in mind, they're talking about, like, a nuclear power plant. They're not, I mean, what this lady's trying to say is, let me clarify what she's trying to say. Basically, what she's trying to say is, Iran basically wants to build some nuclear power plants for electricity. I mean, they don't like America, and they would like to be able to send a nuclear warhead to America. That shit wouldn't get nowhere near us.
That even enrich uranium. And it has lied
And they don't
and
even-
cheated along the
Yeah,
way,
they need
hiding all of its
uranium to make the
activities from the
fucking power
IAEA.
plant.
Including all 3 of its enrichment sites, 2 of which no longer stand today.
So I'm curious too. We have now a 2-week, and I believe the way the White House put it is that
Let me pause that real quick. You gotta be careful with a lot of the shit you're seeing on this, because AI is making a lot of fake shit out there too. Let me let them continue, and then I will cut back in.
President Trump says within 2 weeks he will announce how the U.S. will be involved in the conflict. You've been following Iran's nuclear program so closely for so long. 2 weeks. What can be done in 2 weeks' time? Is there negotiating that can
2
happen?
weeks.
Is
They've been
there a
doing this
pressure
shit
campaign that
since
can still happen?
1995.
2
weeks. It's been 2 weeks since 1995, and we're in 2025. Come
What is
on.
a 2-week time?
I'm not buying this.
I think for the White House, the intention is to give time for U.S. military bases, for CENTCOM to prepare for any retribution, any counterattack from Iran if it did choose to respond, if Trump did decide to get involved and hit the nuclear sites. Tehran, for its part, would like to delay and hide its nuclear material if it can and try to preserve that Fordow enrichment site if it can in negotiations. But if Trump is serious about this 2-week deadline, he will likely act. I think we will see him using these
2-week deadline. I think he's going to make his decision possibly on the 4th of July or right around the 4th of July. That's when I think his 2-week deadline will be up and he's going to make his decision.
massive ordnance penetrator bunker busters, sending them on the stealth B-2 aircraft that only the United States has to deal a final blow to the nuclear weapons program.
Yeah, talk to us a bit about the so-called bunker busters, if you will. I get asked about them so often. Right now on our screen, there's a graphic of the bunker buster bomb strategy on the map here. We'll leave it up on the screen for a while so the viewers can absorb everything that's on this. It's a busy map after all. Can you tell us why bunker busters are important? What facility specifically would a bunker buster be targeting?
The bunker busters really come into play for the buried underground Fordow enrichment site, which is around 60 to 90 meters under a mountain in Iran. It's the only remaining enrichment facility that's still online and has the capacity to make 10 to 11 nuclear weapons. And so leaving that facility standing is a big problem. Now, the U.S. is the only country that has the bunker busters that are 30,000 pounds and can deliver this massive firepower that will essentially burrow into mountain and take out a deeply buried nuclear facility. Israel just doesn't have as heavy of bunker busters, and it doesn't have the right planes that can carry them. The U.S. could have leased the B-2 aircraft
And why
and
is that
provided
our
these
problem for
bunker
Israel?
busters
Why should we be spending our
before,
tax
but
money on
here
that
we
for
are, and
Israel?
now
I'm
the
still
U.S.
not
has to make a
understanding
tough
this.
decision on whether to join a strike.
If
Another
anyone else
question.
knows, can someone please? If anyone else has some information I don't, can please somebody inform me why in the hell are we spending all this money to spend B-52s and all this to Israel? Why? I mean, I understand protecting the bombs that are coming at them if they stop the Iron Dome, if they broke through the Iron Dome and the extra warships they got there, but why are we going beyond that and going on the offensive? Comment if you got any thoughts on that.
Already have nukes.
They don't already have nukes. It's the
The
same
only
as
visual assurance
1995.
because of the IAEA inspection that Iran had not diverted nuclear material to produce a nuclear weapon.
Correct.
And intelligence agencies
don't
had
have it
estimated
either.
the same. The reason that Israel had acted now, though, is because they had seen growing activities of weaponization in the last few months. And these activities have picked up pace. And they weren't going to wait
Sorry,
until Tehran decided to assemble and detonate a
Tehran.
nuclear device.
Sorry, how'd
They
you say?
decided to enact this meticulously planned operation to take out nuclear scientists, enrichment facilities, uranium assets, and any route to weaponization.
Another question from Nick. How long has Iran been building a nuclear weapon? How long has this been building up?
They've actually been working on nuclear weapons since the 90s, and they had kind of conceived of the idea in the 1980s. But they began what's called a crash nuclear weapons program. So they plan to actually build an initial 5 nuclear devices in the late 1990s, and then hope to have those ready by 2003 and be able to test them. Now we know that in 2003, the U.S. had invaded Iraq and was threatening to invade other countries such as Iran on the basis of having weapons of mass destruction programs. And so the Iranians decided to downsize their nuclear weapons program and compartmentalize it. So they hid a lot of the activities, continue to work on them, just in a more downsized fashion for a rainy day.
Is there anything that you feel like is not being discussed enough as it relates to Iran's nuclear program?
I think the weaponization route has now faced a major a devastating impact from Israel's strikes. We've seen up to 14 nuclear
Yeah,
scientists
we should be saying
assassinated,
thank you.
as well as multiple facilities that would have related to building the weapon. So as we're talking about also highly enriched uranium that might be on the loose, the Iranian army says that it has taken it into a secret
shit.
location. We can rest slightly easier knowing that some of this weaponization equipment and capability has been eliminated. Of course, that doesn't rule out any
Why
surprise
can't they have a nuclear
effort
power
by the
plant?
Iranians,
They have every
any
right to build a
deeply
nuclear power
buried
plant.
underground enrichment facilities that people may not know about. And I don't want to alarm people, but that's certainly something that
Not allowed, because they've been
U.S.,
saying this since
Israel, or
1995.
the IEA need to deal with, account for, and eliminate at a certain time.
I say that all the time, but it's tough not to sound alarming sometimes when we talk about things like this. One alarming question I get, I was just talking to some viewers before we hopped on air, and still one of the main questions I get is the U.S. mainland state? Correct me if I'm wrong, but the main point of concern as far as Iran's nuclear program is the areas that are more in the region of the Middle East, correct? We're not so much worried about the U.S. mainland. Do I have that right?
That's right, but the Iranians are working on intercontinental tipped ballistic missiles that could eventually reach the United
So
States.
if we're
and
not
that's
worried
another
about
reason
that,
we
why
see
is it our
Israel,
problem? Eventually,
striking
what, in
now.
another 30 years?
But they have degraded quite a bit of their missile
It's not
capabilities.
our problem right now.
the
America
Iranians
first
still
and making
continue to
America
have
strong
a
and
great
getting cheap
stockpile
gas.
to launch at
Trump, that
Israel.
needs to be our problem.
I think
not
they're
this
preserving
garbage.
some of that right now. And in terms of any retaliation, we could
Keep
see
protecting
strikes
Israel,
against
whatever,
US
but
military
beyond
bases.
that, this is all too
It'd
much.
be a good chance that we would be able to shoot down a lot of those incoming
This isn't our
rockets,
place.
Missiles or other projectiles, and make sure that our troops are
And it
safe.
shouldn't be
though.
your place either. I
This
get
might
it,
be
you
a
gotta
tough
keep
question
doing
to
what the
answer,
American
but
government
let's
was
say
doing
Iran's
prior to
nuclear
you,
program
but
was,
other than protecting Israel,
at
doing all
100%
this extra
strength
shit, Trump,
before
I
this
disagree
most
with this
recent round of
Trump.
strikes began. What percentage is it at now after these IDF strikes?
I don't know if I can give you a percentage. I would say maybe 20%. They're limping along for sure. They have probably been set back by several months, if not years. Certainly many more years if they wanted to restore everything that they have lost. They've lost significant facilities and capabilities. But I think what we need to see here, if the regime does continue to survive, is the IAEA being let back in to account for any missing nuclear material, to dismantle any of Iran's remaining assets, and often, most likely that would go along with some kind of a negotiated deal by the United States and with Iran, if the Iranians do agree to that within the next 2 weeks.
Get this question in from James. What would need to be damaged to make the surrounding area radioactive? Is there a concern in the area
I
for
don't
some
even think
sort
they
of
got that much nuclear
nuclear
stuff to make it
exposure danger?
radioactive.
A nation isn't just built, it's powered. This year, Chevron is
Like, one thing I do know I've actually found out, they've been saying this shit literally since 1995. I was wrong about the president thing, I made a video on that. But beyond the president thing, they've been saying this shit since 1995. Literally, 1995 they've been saying this shit about Iran.